Hey, g'day trader, Sam here from Trade to Prosper. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of March, and I'm going to do a review on Synthetix, SNX. I think it's a good one. Synthetix is used by a lot of blockchain solutions. It's like a middleware, and the name Synthetix is pretty much appropriate. So I do believe it's got a good place in the crypto ecosystem, and anyway, I am buying into this for long term and would like to get the bottom. And I'm not sure where I bought it last time, but looking at the chart, there's some opportunities. So, looking from a strategy perspective, we seen from the macro a number of key levels that have been acting as resistance, and we break them through that. And then we've got these moving averages, as you can see, moving averages. We've seen the moving averages here that played resistance here, and obviously this was more of a formation type of stuff, big macro bear flag. However, this does look like the bottom, and if you look at it from a Wyckoff perspective, it's an accumulation range. So if this was up thrust level, so we had our selling climax, automatic rally, and then another test. So we pretty much get the 1, 2, 3. That would have been a good buy, and you got this sell off like Bitcoin, and then you can see that reversal there. So this is a weekly chart, and you can see the bullishness in it. Here, it was ranging for a while, and it did break above it. So and I'm looking at it from a 0.618 level. So if it's broken the 618 level, and it's getting resistance around here, and this 50 weekly moving average is the main culprit that's holding it back just there. So if you look at it from that perspective and you look at this as a Wyckoff range, you can see the accumulation. Now, there's a good chance that this will break up to the upside. There's also a good chance it could come back down again and do this type of stuff. So from a Wyckoff perspective, we might be able to see that. But I do like the idea of a second retest from the upthrust. That is another model, and potentially we can just go a bit above. So there's two levels in there. I won't go into the detail, but you know the Wyckoff accumulation structure. That is a typical classic one. So it might be able to break above, and then we'll find just above it for liquidity around here, and then it'll come back down. And then we could see this other accumulation. If Bitcoin does something similar, then while Bitcoin's trying to figure itself out, this might have an opportunity to break out. So I wouldn't trade this until I see it pass the 50 moving average on the weekly. So those are my thoughts at the moment from a macro perspective. Now let's look at close on the daily, and you can see how if we were to look at this as a elite wave count on the daily, you can assume that this is a wave 3 4 just completed. So if we were to it's a hard one. So if we were to do I don't know 1, 2, 3, 4, that could be 5 actually. Um, but if we were to do this on a small time frame, let's just get rid of this for a sec. So if that's our Wyckoff reaccumulation, it does feel like that, where we had this continuation pattern to the upside. So that could be resistance, and it could still come back down, and it's nowhere near to where we want it to be. So the key levels are, this is a key level, didn't quite get there, but you can see on the daily, it's there's no wicks on the bottom. There's a fair bit of wicks on top. So we've got to see. I do believe it will try again to go to the top, um, but from a structural perspective, it looks good. That it still wants to go up. It The 50 weekly moving average is obviously playing resistance. If we were to get another Fibonacci from here to that previous top, okay, so it's a 618. That's acting as resistance as well. And let's just do that for a sec. So that makes sense. 618 is acting as a resistance right there. So I would say that this is our immediate range resistance besides the 50 moving average. So that's probably why we're getting a bit of a. So we've got the 618, and knocked down. The 50 moving weekly average might not come into it at all, but it is a significant number. Looking at this, I am still upward bullish. Finding an entry here is not going to be easy. So let's go to the 4 hour and see what it's doing. I do believe that this level that I got in gold is the previous resistance, and it should act. So what we've done is we've come. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. So we made our impulse, and you can see how it just broken above. That is a triangle formation. It's been going sideways for a while, and the fact that we break above it is now going to use this as this range as a support. So what we have is 1, A, B, C, D, E, and then maybe up. Maybe we'll come back down and then up. So I do see this potential. That we're in a range at the moment. It could be a bull flag, and is it worth trading? That could be worth buying at the moment. So what we on the 4 hour? Let's have a closer look. So here's our support for the local demand. At the moment, it's our local demand area, and that's our range. So you can buy the range, buy the dips, and so on, just like Bitcoin at the moment. So I should leave that back there. Buy the dips. Oops. Oh, those keep changing. So if there's a wick and then comes back in, I would buy it back in. At the moment, it's not a good entry. I will look for price to come down in this range, and if it comes back up, buy it, and then you might get that up as well, and then I'll see selling off there. So we'll probably go sideways for a while, just that level slightly above or the same. If you get a wick back down to this below that level, then it's shorted, and you'll be in this small range for a while. So that's a small perspective of trading it, and I think after a while it'll consolidate to make a decision, just like Bitcoin. It's either going to be an upward movement or a downward movement at the moment. So you can have your stop losses. If you buy it there, you might take some profit there. But if this was our A, B, C, D, E, and then potentially up, or the reversal back down again. That's what I see at the moment. I'm bullish with it. And unless the stock market and the US dollar does something drastic, we are going to be in this range for a while. The other alts have done their bit. A lot of them have done their dash. This one hasn't, and so it's been accumulating under this resistance level. So I think that was a 200 daily. That's a 50 SMA. Okay, and the weekly. So this is the 200, is it? The daily, yep. Okay, so it's using the 200 roughly on the daily to be our support. Interesting, 200. All right, that's what I got. Still bullish. Got this curve, but you got to be mindful that if Bitcoin goes bearish, this could easily just come back down, and that could be our next entry there as well. That's the volume point of control in the middle, and it could come down before it does another move to the upside. Those are my thoughts, because we've broken this key level. It's doing accumulation on top of the trend line, somewhere just below resistance. So it's stuck between those two, and it's just broken above it. So I do see this as being bullish. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Actually, one more thing. For those that want to look at the bigger picture, let's do this. Actually, I haven't done it that way. Here we go. So from the big picture perspective, what I've done is got CoinGecko's historical past for Synthetix, because it started way below, and I've just mapped out the previous. So by doing this, so this was the all-time low, back whenever it was, and you see this big run. That is a big gains. So if you don't think it done a lot of gains, it has. It's done like 8,000, 9,000 since it came out, and so this pullback, if we were to measure this pullback to that level there, it's the 6.168 level, and if you go all the way down, um, some pivot points, it could be the 618 as well. So I do see this as the main level of resistance as well. Okay, that's where it is. So a weekly level. Let's look at that. Should have done that before, shouldn't I? Look at the weekly first and then come back to that. So at that level there, if we were to just grab that, let's just put that on the big picture. Let's just get rid of this for a sec. Hide all this. And then synchronize this. Hopefully it does synchronize. Didn't synchronize. It's different Binance, all right. So what I need to do is do manually. So let's just go down. So that's the level. And it's perfectly on it. Where it's right on the 6.8 based on this Fibonacci. Let's just put the other one in. 0.786. Okay. So the 6.8 is acting as a resistance, but you can see how the 618's been broken. We had a weekly close above it. You can see the moving average. This 200 moving averages is acting as support. We've got the 50 resistance and that. So we might just go sideways, but it's got a good chance of going up. Oh, this is a monthly bugger. What was a weekly? That's monthly. That's the weekly. Here we go. So the monthly, it's looking good as well, isn't it? Okay, 3 months in a row, and then we've got our weekly. And if we were to add our RSI into that picture, unfortunately, we don't have too much history on that. The weekly is pretty good. Above the 50 moving average. Look how it just came to a level. It struggled there for a while, and it's broken above it. So it's got a lot of upward momentum, and you can probably argue that was that level, main resistance level, and it's broken above. So there is upward momentum as well, bit of resistance, but it's a coin that if you want to jump into, that's that yellow line. If it breaks above that yellow line, $3.30, 31 cents, then this could hit this next level. And as I said, I'll look at it as a Fibonacci Wyckoff accumulation. And if we were to do that, our 1.272 will be our immediate resistance from there. And that will probably line up with this resistance here. And it does. And there you go. So nice ranging price and a good opportunity to go long. So entry wise, just when it breaks above that, go for it. And we'll get a resistance there. But what we've done is broken the 50 moving average, and it might just keep going. So it might just spike, come back down, and then continue on. And then we've got this macro upward trend. It's like possibly it could come back down, but I don't see that happening until it hits this range, that range there. Well, that's all theory, guys. But yeah, the entry is, if you want to enter this, buy it at the bottom of this small range, right there, and also buy it if the 4-hour closes above this. I would buy it as well. So we don't have a 4-hour candle above it at the moment. And since we don't have a 4-hour candle, if if it breaks above and the 4-hour candle stays above it, then I'll go long. But for now, this could be a cradle trade. It's still got another 3 hours, so it might just come down a bit more. And you can see where the previous resistance is there. We had that wick, so we're in a range. But I do feel comfortable that this could go like that before it goes up. And well, most likely scenario is A, B, C, D, E. Could even be a descending wedge at one potential way. Yeah. So just keep an eye on that. Potential like that. All right, I'm going to leave it there. There's a lot of scenarios that can play up, but macro-wise, it's looking good. Give me a like and share. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.